once said that the best preparation for the future is a well-lived present. I don't know about you, but when I feel prepared to go into something new, even if it's hard or scary, I feel like I have an inner strength to be ready for whatever might lie ahead. But the challenge is to live well in the present. The last many months has really knocked all of our plans and all of our hopes out the window. Here in Thailand, we were forced to go into lockdown in mid-March, and of course that stopped a whole lot of things and meant that a whole lot of things went online as well. And it was an eerie time of isolation and where we had to hunker down just to get through things. And yet, for all of the suddenness that I felt, I also felt a strange sense of being prepared. Not for the family suddenly having to be completely together for many hours of the day, but being prepared actually for space and relishing in that space. So there was more space for me, more space for my family, and more space for other people. And I had a sense that we could slow down and learn how to relate and experience relationships with one another, and especially with God, in a new and a rich way. For me, the preparation came by going through the Song of Songs. I started a week before lockdown happened, and I discovered that it was a book full of pictures of Jesus pursuing and loving his bride, the church. And I felt like I had time to savor and to still and to be quiet and to enjoy rest and peace that God was offering me. And because of lockdown, I experienced that. I had been working through some relationship issues in the months preceding lockdown, and I had a strong sense of feeling like I needed to show myself extra grace and other people that I related to with extra grace. And there was a phrase that was very helpful to me, which was being curious and compassionate about why I or another person responded the way they did in a certain situation. And that preparation really helped all of our family, as the 6 of us were inside our home for too long during the day, and tensions were high and love and laughter was running low. Being physically distant from people that we had usually interacted with on a regular basis meant that we had to be creative and courageous in the way that we continued to try to interact with them. So we had fun doing drive-by drop-offs with food and small gifts. And the headspace that I had and the rest that I had meant that I was able to more meaningfully reach out to people who I hadn't seen in a while and call them up and see how I could support them. There was also a preparation time for our kids. Because school was online, they were generally able to finish their school in a reasonable time frame. And so I encouraged them to come and help me in the food distribution ministry that our colleagues had begun. And it was a really helpful time for our kids to learn not only that it was very difficult for the poor, out-of-work Thai and tribal people who were needing food, but it was also a time where they could learn compassion, and hopefully they did learn some compassion. All in all, God has been very gracious and loving to us as he has prepared us in his own ways. We have been living in an abnormal way for many months and actually many years. We have been wearing masks for months because of the bad pollution in Chiang Mai. We have been homeschooling our children on and off for a number of years. We have learned how to nourish ourselves spiritually through online resources, and we're used to having separation from our families back in Australia. So I do feel very privileged that God has allowed us to have a variety of highs and lows during this period of time, because I know that it can't help but produce fruitfulness. And as Solomon said in Song of Songs, chapter 4, verse 15, You are a garden fountain, a well of flowing water streaming down from Lebanon. So when we cultivate and water our inner garden life, we draw others to Christ, and we have an abundant flow of blessing that we give out to others. And what flows out of that when we're having a trying times is the fruit that has come from that cultivated garden life in Christ.